You ever get that feeling that there's some kind of hidden order to everything? A secret code, maybe, written into the very fabric of reality? One that shows up everywhere, from these huge cosmic spirals down to the tiniest little flower petals. Well, today, we're going on a hunt for that exact code.
Okay, so take a look at these. A sunflower, a hurricane, a seashell, even the Parthenon. I mean, what could these possibly have in common? They look totally unrelated, right? A mix of nature, human genius, but they do share a secret. And that secret, well, it's not a thing, it's a number.
And this is it. This number, 1.618. This is the code we've been looking for. But to really get a grip on what this number is, we've got to start with a super simple, kind of elegant pattern that builds it from the ground up. And it all starts right here with something called the Fibonacci sequence. Now, the rule is ridiculously simple. You just add the last two numbers to get the next one. That's it. It's a pattern you could teach a kid, but as you're about to see, it unlocks something pretty profound. See, start with 1, and the sequence just builds. It's like a chain reaction that could literally go on forever. But here's the thing. The numbers themselves, they're not the magic part. The real secret is hidden in how they relate to each other. Yeah, the sequence itself is cool, no doubt. But the real secret, that hidden code we're after, only shows up when we look at the relationship between these numbers. So what happens if you take any two neighbors in this chain and divide the bigger one by the smaller one? All right, let's give it a shot. We'll take 8 divided by 5, and we get 1.6. Huh, interesting. But, is that just a fluke? Let's try the next pair and see. Okay, next up, 13 divided by 8. The answer this time, 1.625. Now, wait a second. Did you see that? The number changed, sure, but it's like it's zeroing in on a target. It's getting closer to something. And this is the key to the whole thing. If you just kept going, dividing 21 by 13, then 34 by 21, and on and on and on, that ratio gets more and more precise. It starts to converge, getting infinitely closer to one very special, almost magical number. And that number, well, it has a name. It's called the golden ratio. We use the Greek letter phi to represent it, and it's what's known as an irrational number. That just means its decimals go on forever without repeating. For us, we usually just shorten it to 1.618. For centuries, people have even called it the divine proportion. So this is it, 1.618. This is the code, the number that seems to pop up everywhere, connecting things like sunflowers and ancient temples. Now that we've cracked it, let's go on a hunt and see where else it's hiding. All right, now for the fun part. Let's really dig in and see just how deep this rabbit hole goes. We're about to find out how this one single number seems to be woven right into the fabric of our universe, almost like a fundamental blueprint for reality itself.
And we're going to start where life itself begins, biology. Because it really seems like nature is just obsessed with the beautiful efficiency of the golden ratio.
Nature is all about efficiency, right? It doesn't waste energy. Think about it. The spiral of a nautilus shell grows perfectly without changing its basic shape. The seeds in a sunflower head pack themselves in to give every single seed the most sunlight possible. Even our own DNA, the code of life itself, has proportions that are linked to this ratio. In all these cases, the golden ratio seems to provide the blueprint for the most efficient, most successful design. It's like the mathematics of growing perfectly. So, okay, if it's the blueprint for nature, what about us? Does it guide us too? Is it possible that our sense of what's beautiful is actually hardwired to recognize and love this specific ratio? Let's jump over to the world of human creation and find out. It turns out, for centuries, artists and architects have been convinced that this ratio was the secret sauce for beauty. From Leonardo da Vinci's The Vitruvian Man, which tried to map out the ideal human form, to the timeless design of the Parthenon, this proportion shows up again and again. You even have modern architects like Le Corbusier who designed entire buildings using it because they were sure it created spaces that just felt right to us. It really makes you wonder if our sense of harmony is mathematical. Okay,
So we've seen it in life, we've seen it in art, but what if we zoom out, like way out? Does this pattern still hold up on the most massive scales we can even imagine? And this is where it gets kind of mind-blowing. The pattern holds. The exact same spiral that shapes a tiny little seashell is echoed in the swirling arms of galaxies that are hundreds of thousands of light years across. You see it in the powerful shape of a hurricane. And believe it or not, some analysts even say they see it in the seemingly chaotic ups and downs of our financial markets. So from the cosmic to the chaotic, this code seems to be everywhere. But here comes the twist. Isn't this all just a little too perfect? Is it possible that the code isn't actually out there at all? That it's something we are projecting onto the world from inside our own heads? And this gets us to a really fundamental debate. On one hand, you have the idea of a divine proportion, a true mathematical blueprint for the universe that we're slowly discovering. But on the other hand, what if it's just human perception? Are our brains just such powerful pattern-finding machines that we see order even where there's only chaos? Believe it or not, there's actually a word for this. It's called apophenia. It's that very human thing we do. You know, seeing faces in the clouds, or finding meaning in random coincidences. And the critics of the whole golden ratio idea, they argue that we're basically just cherry-picking the evidence. We're pointing to a slightly squashed seashell, or a perfectly cropped photo of a galaxy, and we're totally ignoring the countless examples in nature and art that don't fit the pattern at all.
So what's the verdict? Are all these cosmic coincidences just that, coincidences? Or have we really stumbled upon a fundamental building block of the entire universe? Are we decoders, finding a hidden truth about reality? Or are we just really good storytellers making up a story of order to feel better about a chaotic world?
And that leads us to our final big question. How should we look at all of this? Is it just math? A cold, hard fact of how the universe is put together? Or is it a sign that we're living inside a masterpiece, one that we can only just begin to understand? And maybe the ultimate question is this. Is the universe literally written in the language of mathematics? Or is math just the best language we have to describe it? Was the code a discovery? Or was it our own greatest invention? Thanks for joining this explainer.